small. The starscrapers of the 22nd century had broken his sense of scale. And yet the way it stood against this perfect blue morning left a mark. On the sky. On his soul. He was home. Merlin's memories should have risen up to meet him, rather like the flagstones had risen up to meet his face, but none were forthcoming. Perhaps he was too nervous. After all, he wasn't supposed to be facing his past alone. The time portal had tried to burst his body into atomic confetti, but even worse, it had ripped his friends away from one another. He looked around for Ari, Gwen, Jordan, Lamb, and Val, wondering if they'd all landed safely in the square, while he alone had had the misfortune of shooting straight down the barrel of a smelly well. All he found was one young person with a gaping mouth and fishy wide eyes watching his every move. They had ruddy white skin and scruffy brown hair, and they said a word that sounded a fair bit like shit. It was hard to adjust now that he had gotten used to the distinct Mercer accent of the future. Not Mercer. English. The language is English, Merlin corrected. Curse that consumer monster with its uncanny knack for swallowing culture and rebranding history. Actually, he'd gone back far enough that England didn't exist quite yet. The island was known as Britannia during this time. He spent a moment mentally mapping it out. Camelot's golden age had flowered just before the Norman invasion and after the island's run-in with the Roman Empire, which left nothing but divisions and bathhouses in its wake. "Good day," Merlin shouted heartily, causing the scruffy kid to drop their bucket. They eyed him, then the well. "Did you spring from the roots of the stone?" "Stones don't have roots," he quipped, though he enjoyed the way this language lent itself to metaphor. His future friends had been so amused by his allegorical loquaciousness, but it was a remnant of his origins. A rare one he actually treasured. Not that he knew his precise origins. The farthest back he could remember was waking up in the crystal cave, ancient and alone. "Then where did you come from?" the small stranger asked. Merlin suppressed the desire to say, "A galaxy far, far away." "I'm from Camelot." He was only half a foot taller than this young person, which begged the question, how old was Merlin these days? Was it possible he'd gotten younger since they left the future? Perhaps the portal had shaved off more of his life. A penalty for time travel? Morgana had given up her existence to send them back, while Excalibur had broken to bits. Was this his price? He loved magic, but sometimes it was unmistakably the worst. The kid grumbled as they sent the bucket down the well, while Merlin twisted water from the ruby robes Ari had gifted him on Ketch. He tried not to look suspicious, though that ship had probably sailed to distant seas by now. First things first, he needed to find the crowds. Ari was always at the center of the action, the others not far behind. They were her little ducklings. Thinking of Jordan and her knightly skills, he course-corrected. Lethal ducklings. "What's happening today? Where is everyone?" "All attend King Arthur's wedding," the kid said, sweating under the weight of the bucket as they brought it back up. "He takes his bride in the tournament ring." Oh, yes, the ever-delightful treatment of women as possessions. He was definitely back. Something clicked oddly. "Guinevere? Arthur is already marrying Guinevere?" He didn't know why he was surprised. He'd commanded the portal to take them back to Arthur's 18th birthday season, which had been a particularly momentous time for the young king and a rather squishy blank period in Merlin's memories. That's when the enchanted chalice had appeared and disappeared. And that's what Arthur's spirit had sent them back to retrieve. "The Lady Guinevere comes from afar," the kid said eagerly. "An exotic beauty. My friend says she..."